The Transportation Department is looking to protect passengers as airlines continue struggling to get planes off the ground. The plan would require airlines to give stranded flyers vouchers that don't expire. But what does the airline industry think of this? Let's ask Frontier Airlines CEO Barry Biffle. Good to see you. Thank you for being here, Barry. What do you think of this, these mandated vouchers that never expire?
Well, thanks for having us on, David. I think, at the core of this, if an airline cancels a flight, I think you're entitled to a refund. And if you don't get cash, obviously, if you're going to get a voucher, it probably should be good forever. But again, I think the number one thing is if you cancel the flight, you should give them a refund. And they should get it pretty quickly. I think what's most important, though, in our case, we've been focused on just not canceling your flight. We're one of the most dependable airlines this summer. And we've been running over 99% completion. So that's the most important thing, is don't cancel it in the first place.
Well, I think the most important thing above all is, rather than getting somewhere quickly, is getting there safely. And frankly, there are a lot of people, Barry, who are worried about the shortages of pilots. More than that, actually, the shortages of mechanics and the shortages of air traffic controllers. Is that a problem? Is safety in jeopardy?
I don't know that safety's in jeopardy, but I think getting enough qualified mechanics and enough qualified pilots is a challenge today. And there's some things that we've got to do to change, to not just change the way that we're training, but improve the quality of training, and not just have arbitrary minimum hours that may not have the quality that they need. So there's a conversation going on about that, and hopefully we can get to this shortage pretty quickly.
But the labor shortage is a problem, because you've got to jack up salaries to a point that may hurt airlines, may hurt your bottom line. But again, you don't want to shortchange anybody on making sure that the mechanics are there to check a plane before it goes up, or that the air traffic controllers are there to make sure that the planes don't bump into each other.
That's right. But safety is always the number one priority, and so we'll always focus on that. I think that the cost of it is one thing, but the supply is another, and so there needs to be student loans that are available at just as cheap from a financing perspective as there are to get an art history degree. It should be just as competitive, and so we've got to look at all the ways that the training gets done, and so that you have that supply of safe pilots.
How about raising the retirement age for pilots? I've heard a lot of pilots suggest that.
Well, so look, I think that makes sense. I mean, we're seeing Americans live longer. Everyone around the world is living longer, and we've raised it from 60 to 65. There's plenty of medical data on this, and I'm sure that raising it from 65 to 67 or even 70 is probably possible, as long as you have the requisite medical certifications. I don't think that would be a challenge, but it's definitely something to look at. But that's a temporary solution, right? Yeah. That I think could buy us time to get the training up. But I think these things will solve themselves if we all work together.
I hope so. Let me talk about the industry for a second, and particularly something very close to your intentions and hearts, the JetBlue Spirit merger. Of course, you guys looked like you were going to get Spirit for the longest time. Spirit felt that JetBlue was being too aggressive. They didn't like them. They ended up with it. JetBlue ended up with Spirit. How did that happen?
Well, the Spirit shareholders voted, and they chose that path. And I think, for consumers, this is disappointing, because you're in a situation where, if you listen to what JetBlue's saying, they're going to raise the Spirit costs. And I think if you look at JetBlue's prices in Q2 versus ours, you're talking $160 round trip per person. That's over $600 for a family. So this is millions more that consumers are going to be paying. So we understand that consumers could be blue about higher fares and Spirit's being down. That's why we're offering $19 fares at flyfrontier.com to kind of settle that down.
Okay, so is that a little bit of a gotcha there thrown in?
Oh, yeah. Well, absolutely.
Now, regulators didn't see it that way, though, very quickly.
Well, look, I think the regulators have still got to weigh in, and they're very early in the process. They've still got to get a shareholder vote, and we still have to see what the Department of Justice says. But we got to assume that it goes through at this point.
All right, Barry Biffle, good to see you, my friend. Good luck to you. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it.